Hi guys, I am Shahzad. Today we are going to start our new series, which is the JavaScript. Make sure if you want to learn the JavaScript, you have to familiar with the HTML and also the CSS, because we mostly use these kind of concepts. I'm talking about the HTML and also the CSS concepts in JavaScript. So this is the prerequisite, and also you have to familiar with the IDE. So if you are not familiar with the IDE, don't worry about it. We mostly use the PHP Storm or the Notepad++. We're gonna give you the idea how can you do that. We start from the zero, like what is the JavaScript file, how can you create your JavaScript file, what are the variables, how can you call the variables, how many ways to call the variables, what are the functions, methods, and what are the objects, built-in objects, or how can you create your own object, how can you call that particular object, how can you pass the argument. If you talk about the functions, your built-in functions, you can also create your own functions, you can pass the argument or you can retrieve that particular arguments once you call. We're gonna discuss each and everything.
So first of all, what is a script tag? So as you can see, this is the script and this is a script tags. These are the script tags, and you can place any JavaScript code between these tags. Okay, how? For suppose I'm saying console.log and now I'm saying working. Don't worry if you are not familiar with console.log, we will discuss about the console.log environment. Okay, just refresh the page. Now right click, inspect element, open your console. So now as you can see, it's saying working. So that means you have to place your JavaScript code inside these tags. Okay, now where you can use the Java tags, script tags, you can also place anywhere in your HTML. First of all, you can also place your HTML script tags here. Go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, it's saying also working fine. And you can also place your script tags in the header sections. We will discuss about the header sections, that how can you insert your JavaScript, your separate JavaScript file. So don't worry about this. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now console, right click, inspect element, and then click on the console. Make sure I'm using the Chrome editor, sorry, the Chrome browser. No, this is not the editor. So it's saying working fine. You can also place in the body anywhere. So it's totally depend upon you how you are working. For suppose if you have a external JavaScript file, how can you manage them? Now I'm saying in the JavaScript, we have the JavaScript folder in our F drive. So as you can see, this is the F drive and we have the JavaScript folder. So in the JavaScript folder, we have an index.html file, which we have created. So now I'm creating the folder, the directory here. I'm saying assets. Okay. The name of the directory, assets. So in the JavaScript folder, we have an assets directory. So in the assets directory, I'm going to create the JavaScript file. So here is the JavaScript file. Make sure, how can you create your JavaScript file? You can, because this is the PHP Storm, so that's why it's automatically creating, or it automatically create the extensions for you. If you have the Notepad editor, you have to save your file. For suppose my scripting, or you can give any name. For suppose I'm saying custom.js. You have to add JS file if you are creating a JavaScript file. JS means JavaScript file. So here I'm not going to use the .js extension because the PHP Storm editor create the JS extensions for me. Okay, so now I'm saying custom. Okay, so the file name is custom, the type is .js. Just click on the okay. So now as you can see, I have just created the custom.js file in my assets folder. So how can you, I'm saying console.log, and now I'm saying make sure console braces, and now double quotations. You have to use double quotations if you are using the string or something like that. I'm saying working, external working, or I'm saying external script working. So now how can go to your page? First of all, go to your browser, refresh the page, or go to your folder. So as you can see, we have a JavaScript folder and we have an index.php, index.html file, and we have just created the assets folder. In the assets folder, we have created the custom.js file properties. So as you can see, this is the .js file extension. Okay, so now JavaScript, click on the index.html file. So now as you can see, fine. Now right click, inspect element and console. So now as you can see, it's not working. Why? Because you have to embed this file, or you have to attach this file in your HTML file. So where you can add the JS file, you can also add the JS file in the header section. First of all, you can also use the JS file in the body, here or here. But the best practice, you have to add the JS file for now in the header, or you can also use the JS file here where your body ends. So now I'm saying script. How can you add? I'm saying type, I'm saying text slash JavaScript. Okay, now I'm saying src. I'm saying go to the assets folder, and in the assets folders I have a custom.js file. Okay, so now go to your page, refresh the page, and now right click, inspect element, console. As you can see, it's saying external script working, because you have successfully attached, or you have successfully embedded your external JS file in your HTML environment. Okay, so now for suppose if you are giving the wrong path, for suppose I'm saying assets 3s with 3s, because this folder is not available here. So how can you debug? So right click, go to your page, refresh the page, right click, inspect element, console. So now as you can see, it's saying custom.js file is not available in this folder, because it's giving you the error. Okay, so in this way you can debug your code. Once you provide the right path and the right file. So now I'm saying assets custom.js file. This is the right path and this is the right file. So now go to your page, refresh the page, right click, inspect element, go to console. It's saying working fine. For suppose if you are giving the wrong file name, for suppose I'm saying this file is not available in this folder, which is the assets. Refresh, right click, inspect element, console. So now as you can see, it's also saying that this file is not available. Where? Here, as you can see, it's also pointing you console. In the console you have, it's saying index.html in the line of 6. So you have an index.html in the line of 6, you have your error. So in this way you can debug your code. Click on. So now as you can see, it's saying failed, scripting failed. Okay, I'm saying this is the custom.js file. Now go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's saying that you have successfully embedded or attached the JS, the external JS file. You have your HTML file. We have created the HTML file here, and now we are using, or we are creating the div, and we are assigning the ID. For suppose my ID. First of all, my ID, I is capital first of all. Now go to your page, refresh the page. So as you can see, it's fine. You have created the empty div. Now I'm saying document dot get element by ID. Now which ID? Single quotations, or you can also use the double quotations. I'm saying this ID because ID is the unique property. So now I'm saying inner.html equals to, now I'm saying here is my text. Okay, here is my text. So now you have attached your external JS file. As you can see, this is the custom.js files, and we are writing the JavaScript code in the custom.js file. So that's why we are separating our JS code from our HTML file. So this is the best practice. Okay, so now it will produce the error. Why? We will discuss about it. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's not working. Right click, inspect element. You can debug like this. Right click, inspect element. Why this is showing separately from your browser? Because if you are using this options, dock to bottom, so as you can see, it's showing you like this. If you are using this, the undock into separate window. So that's why I'm using the separate window. Okay, so now go to the console. As you can see, it's saying cannot set property in our HTML of none. Where code 1, because you have added your external file in your header. So that's why it's generating the error. Why? Because you are loading your code, always execute from top to bottom, left to right. So this is the top, and you are executing your code here, and now as you can see, it's not finding the my ID while executing this code. So that's why. So the best practice is to embed or add your external scripting in your body, or where your body ends. So now once again, go to your browser, refresh the page, make sure we have created the index.html file. So that's why you can also go to your F folder and JavaScript, click on the index. So it's okay. So now as you can see, here is my text. Right click, inspect element, console, because it's working fine. So that's why you are not seeing any error here. You are a beginner, so you have to familiar with them. First of all, what is the statement? For suppose this is the statement. This is the first statement, this is the second statement, and this is the third statement. If you are writing your code here and adding the colon, this is your statement, because in programming language, these are the statements. You can also separate your statements with your using semicolon, or you can terminate your single statement, one statement, adding your single colon. Okay, so now these are the statements. What are the variables? In programming language, variables are used to store the values, the data values, for suppose 1 to 1.1 and your string, word, or special character. So these are the values. You can store these values in your variables. How can you define your variables? If you are not familiar with JavaScript, so now I'm showing you, you can declare your variables with using var, your variables name. For suppose xyz, you can add your variable name. I'm saying variable name here, and you can assign the value to your variable like this. Okay, we will discuss about your value here. Why I'm using this single quotations? Because this is the string, so that's why I'm using the single. Okay, so now if I have the string, integer value, for suppose variable's name. This is your variable's name. You can also define, for suppose Shakesy. That means the variable name is now Shakesy. Equals to sign, you can use the 10 without quotations, single quotations or double quotations. Why? Because this is the integer value. If you have a floating value like 1.1 or 1.11, so you can use this. Okay, so these are the variables. These are the ways to declare and assign the value to your variables. So these are the operators: plus, minus, multiplications. This is multiplications, divided. These are the operators. For suppose if you have a 10 plus 10 value, that means this is the operator and these are the operands. Okay, you always perform these type of task in your method. Okay, so this is the assignment operator. Equals to, single equals to is the assignment operator. That's why because if you are saying that you have a x variables and you are assigning the 10 value, that means you are already assigned the 10 value to your x variables, or in simple words, you are saying you have stored the 10 value in your x variables. You can create as many as variables as you want. And now how can you concatenate two strings? For suppose if you have a string 1, so this is the variable name, string 1 is the variable name. I'm saying hello for suppose, and now I'm saying I'm declaring another variables which is string 2, and now I'm using the double quotations here. You can also use single or double quotations. So now this is the one statement, this is the second statement. I'm saying world. Now how can you concatenate two variables? So now I'm saying string plus string 2. You can concatenate these two variables, okay, like this. We will discuss about them, but for now you can also do like this. Okay, so now go to your console, refresh the page, remove your index or remove your alert, and now I'm saying var. That means I'm going to declare a variables. For suppose I'm saying x equals to 10. Okay, you can also use the space, it's totally depend upon you. Okay, so now I'm saying I have a x, and now I'm going to show the x in the console.log. Okay, now you have to assign the x here. Go to your page, refresh the page, right click, inspect element, console. As you can see, it's showing 10. You can also use the document dot get element by id. You can, where the id, I'm saying this id, single or double quotations, and now I'm saying inner.html. This is the inner.html, and you can assign the x here. Okay, make sure this is dot inner.html. You have to add the semicolon to terminate or to end your statement. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's showing us the 10. For suppose if you have another value, for suppose I'm saying string is the variable string 1 I have just created or I have just declared. I'm saying my string. So how can you concatenate with your first variables with second variables? I'm saying plus string 1. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's fine. Now if you are storing, I'm saying integer. Now show your integer, this plus sign, that means you are merging these two variables. So as you can see, it's saying integer 10. Okay, so for suppose if you are adding the static value to your variable, so this is the 10. For suppose I'm saying plus and then single quotations, I'm saying here is my text. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, you can also add the space here. So as you can see, it's saying here is my text. You can also use simple. So how can you perform the operators? Sorry, how can you use the operators? I'm saying var y equals to 20. For suppose I'm saying 10 plus y. That means I am now adding these two variables. Adding, that means I'm using the add operator. Click on this. As you can see, it's saying it's adding 10 with 20 because we have assigned the value 10 to our x variables and we have assigned the 20 value to our y variables. So in this way you can perform or you can create or declare the variables. So first of all, JavaScript comments can be used to explain your JavaScript code first of all, and the second, you can also make it more readable. For suppose if you have a complex logic, you can also use or you can define your logics by adding the comment. I'm saying this is why I'm using this. I'm saying this is because it's fetching values from database or like this. So that's why you are adding the comments. How can you add? If you are adding the comments like this to backslash brackets, as you can see, this is forward and this is backslash. Okay, two brackets, and now you can add your comments. So x variables, for suppose variable here, and for suppose I'm adding y variable here, y variable here. Okay, go to your file, refresh the page, so it's working fine. So in this way you can add the comment. If you are hiding your code, so you can also use the comment like this. Go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, you are now currently hiding your code, or you are preventing, or you have prevent your code for the execution. Okay, so now this is the single line comment. You can also use the multiple line comments. For suppose, how can you use them? Slash asterisk sign, and you are ending your comment here, asterisk sign and slash. So this is a multiple line comment. Okay, go to your page, refresh the page, right click, inspect elements. As you can see, it's not working. This is the multiple line comment. So in this way you can add comment to your file. Okay, for suppose if you have your script here and your code here, console.log JavaScript code here, you can also use, for suppose if you have a multiple line comment, just add the multiple line comment. Or if you are using PHP store, select your lines. Now press your Alt and press your slash button. So this is the single line comment. And if you are adding multiple line, Control Shift, add the backslash button. So as you can see, it's now using the multiple line comment. First of all, you have your integer values or number like 1, 2 or 100, 1000. That means without decimal point. Okay, you have your null value. For suppose if you are saying that you have x and you are assigning the null, make sure null is not a 0. That means you are saying this x variable has a value null, not none. Okay, so you have your null, and then you have the string values. For suppose x, y, z, or your string value, for suppose Shakespeare, for suppose hello world. And you also have the symbols. We will discuss about the symbols, but for now you have your symbol data type, and you also have the object. So we will discuss about the object in our later lectures, but for now you have an integers value, and also you have a floating value, floating data types. That means 10.1, or I'm saying that 11.1 and something like that. So these are the data types you are going to use in the JavaScript. So how can you use the JavaScript data types? For suppose in your custom.js file, go to your page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's fine. Now I'm saying I have var, I'm declaring a variables x, and I have a 10 value. I'm assigning the 10 value in my x. You always use this syntax in your algebra, in your mathematics. Okay, now I'm saying I have a variables named my string, and now I have a value in this string or in this variables. You can also use single or double quotations for your string values. So these are the rules. If you are declaring any variables which has the data type string, you have to add the single quotations or the double quotations. Okay, now I'm saying here is my string. You always use your string inside your single quotations or double quotations. Or if I'm assigning my value, my float, this is your floating variables 100.1. we are not using single or double quotations here because this is the floating value. Okay, this is the integer value. If you are doing like this, you are assigning this value, this 10 value to your x. That means this is the string, not the integer. Okay, so these are the rules. You can also assign the boolean. Boolean is a true or false value. We have discussed about the boolean. Just a second. Okay, you have a boolean value also. Boolean 1 or 0. That means true and false. We will discuss about them, but for now you have a boolean value. For suppose I am saying I have a value or status equals to true. Okay, that means this is the boolean variable. First of all, arithmetic operators perform the arithmetic on numbers or with two variables. You can perform the arithmetic operations on numbers and on two variables. Okay, for suppose if you have, so you are familiar with data types. This is a string data type, floating, boolean, and this is an integer. Now, how many arithmetic operators available? Plus for addition, first of all, minus for subtraction, multiplication for multiplication, and you have a backslash, that means division, dividing something, or you have a modular or remainder, and you also have the plus sign, plus or the minus. We will use all of that. Okay, so plus is the increment operator and minus is the decrement operator. For suppose you have variables x and you have variables y. Okay, so now I'm saying it's a 20 or I'm saying it's a 10. Okay, so now that means you are declaring a variable x and you are declaring the variable y here, and you are assigning the 10 value to your x variable, 10 value to your y variables. Okay, in your algebra you always do this. Okay, so now I'm saying document for the output, document dot get element by id. Which id? You have your index.html file, you have your my id. So single quotations or double quotations, okay, it's totally depend upon you. I'm saying my id, I is capital. Okay, so now I'm saying inner.text or inner.html. So we will discuss about the difference between them, but for now I'm saying inner.text. You can also use inner.html. Okay, so now I'm saying x plus y. Okay, that means 10 plus 10 equals to 20. Go to your page, refresh the page. Now you can see it's saying 20. If you are using the subtraction, you can use the minus sign. You can also add the space. Go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see it's showing 0 because 10 minus 10 equals to 0. If you are using dividing x divided by y, go to your page, refresh the page. Now it's saying 1. And if you are saying multiplications, go to your page, refresh the page. So now it's saying 100 because 10 multiplied by 10 equals to 100. If you are using the modular or the remainder, go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see the remainder is 0. So what about the plus? And what about the minus? We will discuss about them in a little like this, but for now, if you have a 10 value in your x variables and you are saying x plus, that means you are adding one value to your x. So your previous value is 10, you are saying oh add one value, that means x plus 1. So what is the value now? Now the value is 11 because you are adding the 1 to your x. Okay, if you are doing like this x plus plus, that means you are saying that, oh, please add the one value to your x, so it's also 11. And if you are saying x minus minus, that means you are subtracting one value to your x variable. So current value is 20, and now you are saying, oh, subtract the one value, so now the result is 9. So in this way your increment and decrement operators works. Assignment operators assign the values to JavaScript variables. So how this is the assignment operator. That means you are assigning the 10 value to your x variables. Okay, fine. If I'm saying that x plus y, first of all, you are assigning the two values 10 10 to your x and y variables, and you are showing the values to your my div or in your y div. Go to your page, refresh the page, it's saying 20. For suppose if you are saying that you have a single value x and you are showing the x to your in your div, so it's showing 10, fine. If you are saying that x plus equals to 10, so what happens if you are saying x plus 10? So definitely it adds the 10 to your x variables. So how? Go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's saying 20. If you are saying x minus equals to 10, go to your page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying 0, because you have previous value x and you are subtracting 10 values to your x variables. You're gonna also use the multiplication sign here, so it's showing 100, fine. You can also use the divide and also use the remainder or modular. Okay, for suppose if you have tags, I'm saying that you have h1 here and now it's a trick. I'm saying x for suppose, or I'm saying this is the null value. Okay, now I'm saying I have x, but now I'm saying plus equals to, I'm saying this is h1 first of all, and now I'm saying x plus equals to, sorry, x plus equals to, in my single quotations I'm saying x close here. Okay, now I'm saying I have x plus equals to my heading here. Okay, so now what happens? I'm saying x, so now in this time I have to say that inner.html. So inner.html. Okay, go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's saying my heading. Why it's saying my heading? Because this is the null value and you are showing the null value, or you can also use the double quotation or single quotations. Okay, fine. Or if you are saying that you are declaring the x value, x variables, and now after that you are assigning the values. So now as you can see, it's saying, first of all, it's saying undefined. Why? Because you are not assigning the value. Okay, so in this way your variables work. So and now as you can see, it's showing my heading here because you are adding the h1 with your previous value. You have empty value here, you have added the h1, so now you have the previous value h1 starts, and now you have a text, and now you have a h1 close. So in this way the variables works. Okay, so now I'm saying you have x value. For suppose you are assigning the, you have your variables x and you are assigning the 10 value to your variables. Okay, now if you are storing some other values, you have to create the y variables first of all, and you have to add the second value here. Okay, so if you have another value, you have to create the other variables, for suppose xy, for suppose z, and now you have to add or you have to assign the value to your variables. For suppose if you have thousands of values, so you have to create the thousands of variables and you have to assign the thousands of values to your variables. So this is the problems. So we have a special type of variables in JavaScript, which is the array variables. So an array is a special type of variables which can hold more than one values at a time. So how? I'm saying you can use the braces to create the array. Now your item goes here with comma, and your item goes here with comma, your item goes here with comma. Okay, for suppose if you have a variables var and you have a x variables, so now you are assigning the array to your x variables. This is the special type of variables. Now I'm saying 10 comma 20 comma 30 comma 40 comma 50 comma 60 comma 70 comma 80 comma 90 comma 100. So now as you can see, you have stored multiple values at the same time to your x variables. For now, how can you access them? Just x, and now you have to say that 0 index, because array always start with index 0. That means you have 10 value at index 0, and you have second value at index 1, and you have third value at index 2. So whenever you want to access to your array variables or array value, you have to tell which index. For suppose you have your x here, and now I'm saying we are assigning these values to your x. So now this is the array variables, and now I'm saying, oh, show me the 0 index value. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's showing me 10 value, because you have stored the 10 value at 0 index. So this is the 0 index, 1 index, second. If I'm saying that, oh, show me the third index, so where is the third index? So this is the 0 index, 1, 2, third. So definitely it will show us the 40 value. So go to your page, refresh the page, it's showing us 40 value. Okay, so in this way your array works. So what about the objects? In real life you have some objects. For suppose if you have a computer, so computer is a object, and in the computer you have different properties which define the computers, and you have different methods. So what are the properties? The keyboard is the property, the screen is the property. So as you can see, this is the screen. I have also a keyboard like this, and you have the screen, you have your power on off button. So the button is the property. Okay, so what are the methods? For suppose whenever you click on the power button, that means the method is to on your computer. Okay, so this is the method. If you are pressing your keys, that means the key is the property, and your activity while pressing, that is the object methods. Okay, for suppose if you have a car, that means your car definitely has a screen and steering, brakes. So these are the properties. Your key is the property. Key means you have to start your car with key. The starting point is the method. That means you are starting your car by pressing, by moving your key. Okay, if you are driving your car, the driving is the method, because you are driving the car. So these are the methods, and these are the properties always exist in your each object. For suppose if you have a the LCD, you have your definitely power on off buttons. So power on off buttons are the properties, and the displaying functionality, that means this is the method of your screen object. So in object oriented programming, you have your object and you have your properties and some values, or in simple words, in your real life you always have some objects and you have some properties and some methods. For suppose a person is object. For suppose Shagzi or John is an object. John has definitely name for the name, and the surname, and also has the age. So these are the properties which defines the John. And what are the methods? for suppose John can do something with his finger, hands. So this is the method. So first of all, how can you create or how can you call the function? Oh, sorry, not object. So now I'm saying two curly braces. So this is the object. You can create the object with two curly braces, and you have your key, colon, value pair. This is the key and this is the value. Don't worry, I'm not talking about the JSON. So this is the object for suppose I'm saying that first name equals to John, comma, I'm saying last name equals to, I'm saying Alex. For suppose I'm saying age equals to 20 because this is the integer value, so that's why we are not using the single or double quotations. Okay, so now this is the age and you are saying that person, and this is the variable, colon, and now sorry, this is the what variables. So in this way you can go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, fine, right click, inspect element, console, nothing is here because the code is successfully interpreted and it's all fine. So how can you call or how can you access a particular object? You can object dot property. Okay, because these are the properties, 1 2 3 three properties to this object. So now how can you call? I'm saying person dot first name. You can call like this. Now I'm saying alert, pass this here, go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, it's saying John. You can also use the document dot get element by id. Which id? I'm saying my id. Here as you can see, this is your id, div id. I'm saying add inner text, and now pass your call your object. I'm saying person dot first name. Now I'm saying, oh, show me the first name of this object. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's saying John. If I'm saying show me the age, go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's saying 20 because we are accessing this property. If you are saying show me the last name, you refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying Alex. So in this way your object works. So now you are familiar with object. As you can see, this is the object. First of all, this is the object, and now you are this is the variable and this is the object, and you are assigning the object to your variables. And as you can see, this document is the object and the get element is the method because you have two braces. So now how can you create your method inside your object? For suppose if I'm saying that you can also use like this, you can, okay, so now I'm saying this is the age, I'm saying this is the last name, okay, I have to say that this is the colon, and now I'm saying the full name. For suppose I'm saying full name, and now colon with function, and now I'm saying this is the method. Okay, because in object oriented programming you always use the term method. Okay, so now I'm saying return me this dot first name. Why I'm saying this? Because we are in the object, so that's why I'm saying this object. I'm talking about this object, so I'm saying full name. Now if you are saying that full name, because this is the method. Okay, go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's saying John, and you can use the plus sign and space, and now I'm saying this dot last name. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's saying John Alex, because you are calling a method. So this is your method, so don't be confused, because in the previous lecture we have discussed about the function. In the procedural language, if you have a function, that means you use the term function. But in the object oriented environment, whenever you are working on function like this, that means you have to use the term method. So that's why function or methods, these are the two terms, but you always use the function term while working on the procedural language, and while working on the object oriented environment, you always use the method term. Okay, so in this way you can call your properties and you can call your methods. So if you are calling a property, that means you are using the property name, or suppose first name or last name, without these braces, okay, because it's not a method. And if you are using method, then you have to use the method name. This is the full name, because this is the method. Okay, now go to your page, refresh the page, and by the way, what is the comparison? For suppose I'm saying I'm better than you, that means I'm comparing myself with you. That means you always compare two things or two objects or two values. For suppose if you have a x equals to 10, that means you are assigning the 10 values to your x variable, and now you are saying you have a y variables and you are assigning the 10 value to your y variables. Now if you are saying x equals to y, that means you are checking the equality between two variables. So if you are using double equal sign, that means this is the equality sign, and you are checking the equality between two variables. You can also check the equality between two equations. Okay, you always do like this, 10 equals to 10 for suppose, and if you are saying less than 10, less than 10, okay, if you are saying 5 less than 10, okay. So in simple words, the comparison operators are used to test for the true and the false property. That means 5 less than 10, so it's true because 5 always less than 10. If I'm saying 5 for suppose if I'm saying 10 less than 5, 10 less than 5, so this is the false statement. Okay, so in simple words, you always check the true and false statement while comparing two things, two objects or two values. So these are the two values, and if you have a xy variables, and you can also check the variables or you can also compare the values. Okay, so how many ways to check your values? You have double equals to, that means you are checking, you are comparing two things that both are equals or not. Okay, you have less than sign, you have greater than sign, you have less than equals to sign, you have greater than equals to sign, you have your not equals to sign, and you also have the not sign. We will discuss about all of them in our later lectures while working on the conditions, but for now these are the comparison operators. We will discuss about the logical operators, but for now these are the comparison operators. You can perform or you can check to different properties or to same property or to same variables or to different variables using them. Condition statements are used to perform different action based on the different conditions. For suppose if I'm saying I have to execute if someone click on the button, or in simple words I'm saying I have to execute a particular block of code whenever someone click on the button. So this is the conditions. So how many ways to check your conditions? So for suppose if you have a accent, you have x and you have the 10 value in your x variables, and you have a y values, your y variables. For suppose you have y variables. Now you are familiar with the operators. You always use your comparison operator while working on the conditions, while checking on the conditions. Okay, so you have your if statement first of all and your block of code. So this is the conditions. You can check the condition here in your if statement, and you can execute the block of code, your block of code here, block of code. Okay, you can write your block of code here, and you have your else statements also. Okay, that means execute this. If this condition is true, execute this block, otherwise execute this block. Okay, we also have the else if statement, but for now we are starting from the x. For suppose I'm saying you have 10 values and you don't know about the value, ignore this values. First of all, I'm saying f, and now I'm saying I'm checking the conditions here. I'm saying if x equals to 10, so this is the equality sign and this is the equality operator. I'm saying if x equals to 10, I'm saying alert. For suppose for now I'm using the alert. This is the 10 value. This is the 10 value. Okay, otherwise I'm saying execute this block. I'm saying this is my else block. Okay, so now first of all it checks the conditions. This condition, this whole code is defining the conditions. First of all it checks the conditions. If the condition is true, it will execute this block of code, or if you have a multiple statements like this, it will automatically execute all the statements. So you have a single statements in your if block, so definitely it will execute this block, otherwise it will execute this block. So now we know the condition is true, so definitely you have to or it has to show the value. This is the 10 value because this condition is false. For suppose if I'm saying 11, so as you know this condition return the false. Why? Because you have a 10 value in your x variables, and now you are comparing 10 value with 20. So 10 equals to 20. So this is the false value. So that means it's automatically execute your x block, else block. So now go to your page. Okay, go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, this is my else block. If you are saying that sorry, if you are using the other method to show your outputs, I'm saying document dot get element by id, which id I have the my id, my index.html file, and now I'm saying inner.text. Okay, now I have to use the string here. Okay, this is the x. Okay, now I'm just copying this value and pasting value here, and now I'm copying this block of code or the string value or the string, and I'm pasting this string here. Okay, now go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, this is my else block. So it's totally depend upon you. That means you are checking the equality. If I'm saying x, if I'm saying that x less than 11, that means I'm checking the less than conditions. That means x has a 10 value and you have a 11 value. That means x 10 value less than 11. Of course, this is the true condition. So definitely it will execute this block, or it execute this block. Okay, go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, this is the 10 value. Okay, or you can say this is the if block. If block. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, this is saying if block, because you are using the less than sign. If I'm saying that x greater than 11, because you have a 10 value in the x variables. Now you are saying 10 greater than 11, so this is the false value, so it's automatically execute this block of code because you have a single statement, so that's why it will execute this statement. For suppose if you have a thousands of statements here, so definitely it will execute all the statements in the else block. So that's why I'm saying this is the block of code in here between these braces. Okay, so as you can see, this is the else block. Okay, if I'm saying not equals to, that means I'm comparing not equals to, or I'm saying not 11 or sorry, not equals to. Okay, so now you are saying 10 not equals to 11, so that's a true property. Click. So as you can see, this is the if block, it's executing this block of code. If you are saying that equals to 3 equals to, so what happens if you are using the 3 equals to? That means it will check. For suppose if you are checking like this, the string, and you are using 2 equals to sign. For suppose this is the string value, sorry, this is the string value and this is the integer value, because you are storing or you are assigning the integer value to your x variable. Okay, go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's saying this is the if block, because this 2 equals to checking the equality. So these are the equals thing. For suppose if you want to check the equality and also the data type, so you have to use the 3 equal sign. So that means you are checking the equality and also the data type, because this is the integer data type and this is the string data type. So this is the wrong, or it will generate the wrong, or it will execute this else block. Go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, it's saying this is the else block. Okay, so in this way your condition works. For suppose if you are checking multiple times, so how can you do that? I'm saying else if, and now I'm adding the second condition, and now I'm saying, okay, I'm saying else if. That means I'm first of all it checks this condition, then it will check this condition. For suppose if I'm saying x less than or less than equals to, for suppose 2, that means I'm checking this. If I'm saying x less than equals to 100, so that means I'm saying just copy this block of code and now paste this block of code here, and now I'm saying this is second if. This is the second if block. So I'm saying this is a second if block. Now as you can see, because 10 less than equals to 2, so this is the wrong property. First of all, it's definitely checks this, then it's definitely check this. If this condition return the true, that means it will automatically execute this line of code or this block of code. Otherwise it checks this property or this condition. So if you return the true value from here, so it definitely execute this block of code. Otherwise it automatically execute this block of code. Okay, go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, you're saying this is the second if block. So that's why, because it's checking first of all this value, sorry, this conditions, then it's checking these conditions, because you are returning the true conditions here. So that's why it's not executing this block of code and also this block of code. So that's why it's executing. If you are saying the 1, that means you are go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, it's saying this is my else block. So that's what that means, it's returning the false here. So that's why it's not executing this block of code, and it's also returning the false here. So that's why it's not executing this block of code, and all it's now executing the block of code because this is the else block. So you can also check the multiple times to your conditions, to your single condition, or you can check the multiple conditions. So it's totally depend upon your requirement. So switch statement is similar things with your if statement. For suppose how switch statement works. The switch statement basically is used to perform different action based on the different conditions. So how? The syntax is you have to use the switch statement first of all, and now you are curly braces, sorry, your braces, and you can check the case for suppose x, and now you can execute your block of code here, and then you have to use your break statement. So what is the break statement? Don't worry, we will discuss about. You can also check the second time and you can use the break statement here, but you can execute your code here. Okay, now at the end you have your default statement, default, and now you can execute your code or block of code here. Okay, so in this way you can check your conditions. So for suppose you have a 10, if you are using the var, that means you are creating the variables x. If you are not using the var, JavaScript is the loosely coupled language, because this is a scripting language. Okay, so that's why it's automatically detect that you are creating the x variables. Okay, so now var x, I'm using the switch statement now, switch, and I'm saying x, I'm passing this x variable here, and now this is the block of code. Now I have to check the conditions, like case, I'm saying 1, I'm saying this is the one value, for suppose alert 1, and now I have to use the break statement, break, it will break the code, or it will prevent the execution of the switch statement. If I'm saying case, and now I'm saying 2, and I'm saying that alert 2, and now I'm saying break. If I'm saying case, 1, not 1, it's a 2. If I'm saying case 3, or I'm saying the case equals to 10, now I'm saying that alert, this is 10, this is 10 value. Okay, I have to use the break statement here, and now I have a default value. Don't worry, I'm going to explain what's going on. So this is the break statement. I'm saying this is the default value, and also this is the break. Go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, it's saying this is the 10 value, because you have a 10 value inside your x variables. For suppose if you have a 1 value, that means it's automatically execute this block of code. Block of code means you have a single statement here. If you have a multiple statement, so definitely it will execute the multiple statements here. So now go to your page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's saying 1, because you are adding the 1. And if I'm saying that document dot get element by id, document dot get element by id, which id? I'm saying my id, my I capital id, and I'm saying inner dot text, and here I'm saying I'm assigning, or I'm adding the text, I'm saying 1 value here. Okay, so now copy this bad boy, paste this bad boy here, I'm saying second value here. Or if you are checking the 10, that means I'm saying the 10 value here, and this is the block statement. And I'm saying, so you don't need to use the break statement here. I'm saying default value here, default. Go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see the 1 value here, because it's checking the cases. For suppose if I'm saying the third case, so you have 1, 2, 3 cases, but you have assigned the 1 value here. So what happens? Go to your page, refresh the page. It's saying 1. If you have 100 value here. Now you are checking the 1, 2, 3. But what happens? Refresh the page, and now as you can see, it's saying default value because it's checking this first of all, then it's checking this, and now after all it's executing this value. So the difference between if and else condition and switch condition is this, because as we know, if you have single if statement and you have another if statement, else if, and then you have else statement, that means you are checking first of all this value, then you are checking this value, then you are checking this value. Switch statements is different because it's jump you, because it's checking here. If you have a one value, it will execute this case, it will execute this case. For suppose if you have 10 value, it will execute your 10th case. If you don't have a value, so it will automatically execute this default value. So it's not execute first case, second case, third case. So that's why it's different from the if step. So first of all, loop is used to repeat a block of code. Why I am saying block of code? We have some loops like for loop or while loop, do while loop, 3 type of loop available in the JavaScript. If you are working on ASP.NET or C#, you have more than 3 loops. But in JavaScript, you can use the for loop, while loop, and do while loop. So why I am saying the loops can execute a block of code? So now let me show. I'm saying that I have to use the command. Okay, now I'm saying the alert. Alert is a function. Don't worry, we will discuss about the function in our later lectures. But for now, I'm saying working. As we know, you can generate the output or you can show something to your user using alert console and also with HTML element. I'm using alert. Go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, it's showing us first time or a single time working. Click on this, it's fine. For suppose if you want to execute this statement 5 times, for suppose I'm saying, then you have to use like this. So now you are executing alert, 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 alert 5 times. Go to your page, refresh the page. It's the first time, okay, second time, okay, third time, okay, fourth time, okay, and now this is the 5th time, okay. So now as you can see, it's fine, but you are repeating the block of code. So you are repeating the same statement again and again. So first, what happens, you can repeat this statement 5 times. So how? Using for loop, you can execute this block of code 5 times, 3 times, 10th time. It's totally depend upon you. Okay, now what is the syntax? I'm saying for loop. This is the keyword. So for braces, and now you have your initial state, then you have your condition, then you have your increment. You know about the increment, plus is the increment sign. You know about the conditions, less than, greater than, equals to. So these are the conditions. And you know about the initial, that means where your loop starts. For suppose I'm saying my loop starts from 0, so that's why I'm saying I have to create the variables. You can also create the variable here. For suppose the variable starts from 0. Okay, now I'm saying I. Okay, now I'm saying I less than equals to 5. Now this is the condition, and I'm saying I plus plus. Okay, now I'm saying alert. But before doing this, you have to create block of code. So you have to use these braces. Okay, now so this is your block of code. So that's why I told you that loops can execute a block of code. So why? Because this is a single statement. I am going to execute 5 times. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now you can see this is the first time, click, second time, click, third time click, fourth time clicks, 5 time click. Okay, why? Because you are starting from the 0. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So these are the 6. If you are starting from 1 and you are saying that, oh, execute the 3 times, go to your page, refresh the page. So first attempt, okay, second attempt, okay, third attempt, okay. So now in this way your loop works, or in this way you can execute your a block of code or a single line of block of code. For suppose this is a single line of block of code. If you are using multiple line, if you have a thousands of a statement here, that means you are executing these thousands of statement third time according to this condition. So it totally depend upon your conditions where you use the for. For suppose if you are fetching the data from the array, so then you will use the for loop, and you can also use the for loop while working on the database. So we'll discuss about them, but for now, as you know, you have array variable var array. So this is the special type of variable array 1 2 for suppose 100, 200 and 300, and you know very well that array starts from 0. If you are accessing this value, for suppose I'm saying I have to comment this, and now I'm saying alert, and now I'm saying x 0. That means I'm saying, oh, just alert or just output, show me the output, the index 1. That means it will automatically execute or show you the 100. Go to your page, refresh the page. So as you can see, it's saying 100. Okay, so now how can you fetch all the values? You can use the for loop. First of all, what is the length? I'm saying alert x dot length. That means I'm checking the array's length. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now you can see it's saying 3. The length of the array is 3 because you have a 3 values in the array. If you are adding the 4th value, for suppose, now go to your page, refresh the page. Now you can see it's saying 4. So length is the 4 because I'm going to use the length in the for loop. So that's why I have to. Okay, so now I'm saying for. Now your block of code here, which you want to execute multiple times according to your conditions. I'm saying I'm saying I equals to 0. Your statement start from the initial statement start from 0. I'm saying x less than I less than equals to x dot length. That means I'm checking the length. Now semicolon. Now I'm saying I plus plus, and now I have to add the alert, and now I'm saying x, and now I'm saying I. That means it will check the initial value 0 less than equals to length is now 4, 0 less than 4, it will automatically increment by 1. So now you have the 2 value in the I. So it's showing it will execute your first value, then second, then third, and then fourth. So okay, refresh the page. Now you can see it's showing us 100. Okay, it's showing us 200. Okay, it's showing us 300. Okay, it's showing us 400. While loops, the while loops through a block of code as long as the specific condition is true. Means you can execute a block of code as long as a specific condition is true. How? This is the for loop. I have to comment this, and now I'm saying I have a while loop. So this is the while loop, and your condition goes here. Now you have your block of code, and your code execute here, and you have increment. Okay, this is the syntax, and how can you use them? I'm saying while x dot length less than equals to 4. Okay, now block of code. Here you can execute a block of code. Copy this, paste this here. This is the block of code, and you can add, oh sorry, this is not the X, and this is the, this was my mistake, I less than equals to 4, and now I'm saying I plus plus. Go to your page, refresh the page, right click, inspect element, console. It's saying is I is not defined, because you have to define the I. I'm saying var I equals to 0, where I starts from 0. Go to your page, refresh the page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's showing us 100. Okay, it's showing us 200. Okay, it's showing us 300. Okay, it's showing us 400. Okay, so it's showing us undefined. Why it's saying undefined? Because you are starting from 0, so that's why it's showing undefined. You have to add I less than equals to 4. Okay, 100, 200, 300, 400. Okay, fine, because you are adding the equals to sign, so that's why it's showing us. Do while loop is a variant of the while loop. Why? Because the loop will execute the block of code once before checking the if conditions. Okay, so now we are going to show you that what is the syntax of the do while loop. So do and your block of code, and your code goes here, and you have to increment your variable, and your conditions goes here. Why? So that's why we told you that this is the variant of a while loop, and your conditions goes here. Okay, so now I'm saying that I have to use a comment, and now I'm saying that do execute the loop, and I'm saying that alert, and now I'm saying this is my loop. Okay, so you have to use the I plus plus sign here, and you can also check the while property here. Why? Okay, your condition goes here. I'm saying I less than equals to for suppose 5, or for suppose 4. Okay, so now I'm saying I less than equals to 4, or you have to add the x dot length. Now go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, this is my loop. Okay, second time, third time, fourth time, and fine. Okay, if I'm saying x dot length, that means go to your page, refresh the page. Okay, one time, second, third, fourth, because you have a 4 value in the x array variables. Okay, so now if I'm saying x less than equals to, for suppose greater than, if you have a x greater than value, for suppose x greater than 100, because you have a, oh sorry, I'm saying x, it's I, not x. If you have initial value 0, and you are saying I greater than 100, so what happens? It's execute your block of code once. Go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, this is my loop. Okay, so now as you can see, it's not working, because this is the nature of the do while loop. Your do while loop always execute at least one time before checking your statement. We have 3 type of logical operators: or, and, or not, because they are called the logical operators. They can be applied the values of any type. How? Let me show you how your or and not works. For suppose if you have or, you have your or, you have your not, and you have your and sign. How they work? So you can use this. This is also or, and this is not, and this is your and 2 times, and. So okay, for suppose if you have two conditions, in the if statements you have your single condition goes here. For suppose if you have two conditions, one conditions and your second conditions, and second condition, what happens? So how OR works? Your statement, first, S means first statement. If it's a true, if your first statement return true and your second statements also return true, that means it's a true. Okay. Yes. If you have first statement false and your second statement true, then definitely it's true. Okay. If you have first statement false, second statement false, that means it's a false. And if your first statement true, second statement false, that means it's a true sign. We will discuss about this, but for now you have only single instruction is true. This is the first statement, and you have second statement true, it's written true. In this way the OR sign works. So this is the OR sign, or this is the OR logical operator. Okay, so now I'm saying AND. How AND works? You always have both conditions true. So for suppose if you have condition 1, it's true, and you have condition 2, second condition's true, so that means it's always works, it's a true sign. And if you have first statement is false, second statement true, that means it returns false. Okay, if you have first statement true and the second statement false, it returns the false. That means you always have both conditions true. And how your NOT statement works: if you have a true first statement true and you are using NOT sign, that means you are converting your statement from true to false, so it will return the false. If you have first statement false and you are using the NOT sign, that means you are converting your statement from false to true. So in this way your logical operators work. So let me show you how it works. For suppose I'm going to show you. I'm saying var x equals to 10. Now I'm saying if the block of code, I'm saying if x less than equals to, less than 90 and or x greater than 90, or I'm saying 100, execute this block of code. I'm saying alert if working, otherwise I'm saying else working, else. So now go to your page, refresh the page. So now you can see it's saying if working, because this condition returns the true and you have a OR logical operators and this conditions return false. The rule is you always have a single statement true and only single statement true. So definitely it works. If I'm saying that this is true and this is also true, so definitely this is 10 greater than, for suppose 1, so this is also true. Refresh the page, it's working fine because both statements has true. Okay, so now if I'm saying this is the false conditions. For suppose 0, because 10 not less than 0, so this conditions return false, and this condition is still returning true. Go to your page, refresh the page if working. If I'm saying that 100, that means both conditions return false. So in this case your else works. Why? Because you are returning the false here and you are returning also the false here. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's saying else working. So this is the OR logical operator. If you are using AND logical operator, that means you both have a true value to execute your if block. Otherwise it's already execute your X block. So now as you can see, this is the false. This statement return the false, and also this statement return the false. Go to your page, refresh the page, it's saying else working. And if you are saying that you have 9 less than 3, this is the true value and this is a false value. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's saying else working. Why? Because you have one statement is true, but you have second statement is false. If I'm saying this is greater than 1 and you have both statement to true, so X is here. So in this case it's automatically execute this block of code, which is if. Refresh the page, go to your page, refresh the page. Now why? Because X less than 10, okay fine, and X greater than 1, because 10 is not less than 9. If I'm saying 10 less than 90, so great. Okay, so now as you can see, it's saying fine because it's returned the truth here and it's also returning the false here. Okay, so now what about the not sign? If I'm saying this is returning the true. If I'm saying false, I'm using not sign. Go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can refresh the page, now as you can see, it's returning 10 less than equals to 10. If I'm saying okay, not equals to, or suppose if you are using equals to sign, don't worry about this. If you have a equal sign, that means you are checking the equality, it's saying fine. If you are using not equals to, so as you can see, it's saying okay, because this 10 equals to 10 and you are using not sign, so that's why it's converting the true into false. Now I'm saying this working, this is the alert. Go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, it's saying working. This is the built-in functions. This is the JavaScript built-in functions. We don't know how this function works because we are sending one parameters while calling these functions. We will discuss about what is the function and what is invoke or calling a particular functions. Okay, first of all, what is a function? In JavaScript, a function is a block of code designed to perform a particular task. For suppose, if you want to add 2 variables, you definitely add always 2 values. For suppose 10 plus 20. Okay, so now if I'm saying that document.getElement by id, document.getElement by id, which id? I'm saying my id. Why I'm saying? Because I have id in my HTML block. Now I have to remove these line of code. We have a single external JavaScript file attached in our index.html file, as you know, and this is the custom.js file, and this is the custom.js file which we have attached or added in our project. Okay, so now I'm saying get this id and now add something in the div. I'm saying inner.text. Now I'm saying working. Refresh the page, you're saying working. Fine. For suppose, why if you are using second time, if you want to use second time this div, that means you have to copy this code and you have to paste the code, and you can pass your value here. So why? By creating a function, you can save a lot of your work or a lot of your time, because a function is a block of code which can perform a specific task. Just a second. This is the syntax. function, you always use the function keyword and your function name of your function, and this is the body of your function. Okay, your code execute here. Okay, code here. So in this way your function works. So leave this. I'm saying function, your function name, for suppose showing output. I'm saying showing output. Okay, now I'm saying that show me, for suppose I'm going to add this code here. So you have created your function, go to your page, refresh the page. Now you can see, right click, inspect element, console, nothing is happened because you have created the function, but after creating the function you have to call that function. I'm saying showing me, showing output. Now go to your page, refresh the page. Now as you can see it's fine. If you are calling function again, go to your page, refresh the page. So now as you can see it's adding the one value. Okay, so in this way you can save a lot of time by calling a particular function. We will discuss about the arguments, but for now your function works like this. Okay, for suppose if you want to call alert and saying working, just call the function, it's saying working, call twice, refresh the page, working, because it's calling the twice. If you are calling 3 times, go to your page, refresh the page, first time, second, third. So that means you can save a lot of time by calling a particular functions or by executing a particular block of code. So this is the functions. In this way you can create a function. Okay, so what are the arguments? Now as you know, if you are calling this function, because this is a function, this is the built-in functions and this is the user-defined functions. User-defined functions are those functions which you are creating as a programmer. You are creating a functions, that means those are the user-defined functions. And alert, console, this is the built-in functions JavaScript provides for you. Okay, so now you are saying that working, that means you are passing one argument in your function. Okay, so how it works, you can pass one argument here, for suppose 1, 2. That means you are receiving 2 arguments here. Okay, while calling you have to pass 2 arguments. Go to your page. If you have receiving 2 arguments and you are not calling 2 arguments while calling your function, go to your page, refresh the page. As you can see it's working fine. Right click, console. Okay, so now don't worry, I'm saying 10, 20, and now I'm saying alert 1 plus 2. Let me show, just a second. Okay, so now as you can see it's saying 13 because you are sending 2 argument while calling your function. Okay, for suppose you have 1, you are receiving 1 argument. That means when you call the function you have to pass 1 argument. I'm saying that alert, and now you can use the dynamic one. So this is a dynamic. Okay, so now while calling the first time you are saying that this is the first time. Okay, add the semicolon to terminate your statement. Go to your page, refresh the page. As you can see it's saying first time. Now if you are calling second time and you are saying this is the second time, go to your page, refresh the page. As you can see it's saying first time. Okay, so now as you can see it's saying this is the second time. So that means you have created the dynamic alert with a single function. So because the function is always execute a block of code. Okay, so that's why we are saying, for suppose if you have add system, you want to add two different values. For suppose this is fun and this is second values, and you always perform the additions. So how can you do that? I'm saying 1 plus second or 1 plus 2. Okay, for suppose I'm saying 2, and now I have to say 2, and now I'm saying alert. You can also use console, and you can also call the HTML element. Okay, so now I'm receiving two elements here, and you are not passing two arguments, sorry, not elements, so these are the arguments. So now if you are passing a single argument, that means it's illegal. It will generate you the error. Refresh the page. This is the first time. Why I'm saying this is the first time? Because it's adding the values. You have to pass the two values, because if you are doing this, if you are passing one argument, one here, that means you are sending one value here and you are receiving one value here. The second is empty. Now it's concatenating these two strings. So this is empty and this is the first string, so that's why it's showing. Now I'm saying I'm passing 5 and 10. You can have to pass with comma separate. That means you are passing two argument 5, 10. You are passing 5 and you are receiving here. You are passing 10 and you are receiving here, and you are adding these two values. Go to your page, refresh the page, it's saying 15. If you are passing second time, and I'm saying that it's a 20 and 10, so that means you have 15, because 5 plus 10 equals to 15, and this is the 13, because 20 and plus 10 equals to 13. HTML events are something that always happens to HTML elements. For suppose by clicking a particular button, by hover over something like your button or your text or something like this. For suppose you have your HTML button, let me show you something, and I'm saying you have your ID, you are not adding the ID, and you are saying that click me. Okay, now go to your page, refresh the page. You have your, when you click on this, right click, inspect element. So as you can see, open your console, click, nothing is happening, because you have created a single button which is click. Now I'm saying when someone click on this, on click, so this is the syntax, your event here, event equals to and some JavaScript code here, JavaScript code here. You can also use your event name and your JavaScript code here. So how? I'm saying the event name is on click. That means when someone click on this button, I'm saying that document dot get element by ID. Which ID? I'm saying this ID, this divs ID. Okay, change the content. That means I'm saying inner.html, and now I'm saying I have changed. Okay, go to your page, refresh the page, right click, inspect element, console. As you can see, it's working fine. Click on this. So now as you can see, it's saying I have changed. So this is the event, on click event. So you are performing some JavaScript code here, or for suppose if you have a function, so now I'm saying I have a function. Okay, so I'm not passing some argument here, but I'm saying alert. You have to use the function name. I'm saying my function. Okay, so my F capital. Okay, my functions. I'm saying my function is working. Okay, at the semicolon. Now I'm saying whenever someone click on this, I have to call this function. Now I'm saying my function. Go to your page, refresh the page, Okay, when you click on this, as you can see, it's saying my function is working. Why? Because you are calling a particular function. And for suppose if I'm saying that document.get element by id, get element by id, make sure elements e capital by b capital I d capital. Okay, I'm saying this is my id I capital, because I'm using the I here capital. Okay, so now I'm saying dot inner inner dot text. For suppose I'm saying working div. Okay, go to your page, refresh the page, hit the click button. So as you can see, it's saying working div. So you always add some events to your HTML elements. For suppose on click, we have a lot of events: on change, on click, on mouse over, on mouse out, on key down, on load. So we'll discuss about all the events with some examples.
We have few types of data types like integer and also a string. So I'm saying this is the var. Let's suppose I'm saying this is a var. I'm creating a variable's name. The variable name is the name or person name. Okay. Now the value is, I'm saying John or John. Okay, semicolon. Now click on this one to open the script. As you can see, we are using the console for the output. Console.log and person name. Fine. Go to the page, refresh the page, right click, inspect element and click on the console section. So now the console section is saying John because you are storing the John in the variable. Now you can also use the single quotation. It's also working. Sorry, single quotation. It's also working. Fine. Now if you are using the double quotations outside of the string, you can also use the John's name is very something like that. So you are using a string, a single quotation here. So go to the page, refresh the page, it's also working fine. If you are using the two quotations like this one and also this one here, so definitely it will give you the error because it's illegal. If you are using like this, go to the page, refresh the page, it's also giving you the error. So you have to use the plus sign if you are using two strings. That means you are concatenating two strings. This is one string and this is second string. Now as you can see, you are using now one string. My name is John. Now if I use the dot and I'm saying length, that means go to the page, refresh the page, I'm saying that please tell me the length of the string. So now as you can see, it's currently showing you the 15 because 1 2 3 4, also the space 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15. Okay, now if you are using the single quotations like this outside of the string and like this, it's fine. But if you use this one, so it will give you the error. What you just need to use the forward slash to use this quotation. Okay, names, fine. If you want to use this forward slash, so click on this one, it's not showing you, use the twice. So now as you can see, it's showing you the forward slash. You know very well about the one method which is the length. For now it's fine. Now I'm saying that I have the person name or the x variable. So this is the x variable. Okay, now I'm creating x variables and I'm saying you can also use single quotations and double quotations. We'll discuss about the single and double quotations in our previous lecture. I'm saying
this is my name Shegzi here. Okay, now if you storing the x here, definitely to output you have to use the x variable, and then go to the page, refresh the page, fine. Now if you use the dot and use the length, that means you are saying that please tell me the length of the string. So it's saying 28 length. I'm saying my name, now I'm saying this, my name is Shegzi and my another name is. Now if I use the method which is the, I'm saying x dot index of method, and now here you have to specify which thing you want to search. I'm saying Shegzi. Now go to the page, refresh the page, it's saying 11. It's saying at the 11th positions you have a Shegzi. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and this is the 11. And if you use the last index of, that means it will give you the 42. That means it's saying that the Shegzi available here. That means you are saying please tell me the last this search. Now you have another method to search the string. I'm saying search, and now here I'm saying, now as you can see it's showing you the first one. You know very well that we have discussed about the method which is the index of, the difference between index of and the search. You can use the last index of for searching a particular, but you cannot specify the last one here if you are using the search. Okay, let's suppose you want to slice or you want to copy some content or you want to get some string from your string. Let's suppose you want to get some characters or a word from a string. So how can you do that? So you have a method which is the slice. I'm saying slice, just tell, I'm saying from 11, I'm saying from 11 to 14. Now go to the page, refresh the page. Now as you can see it's saying Shay. Why it's saying Shay? Because you are saying go to the 11th positions and copy the content till the 14th position. So you have a 11th position and this is the 12, 13, 14. So that's why it's saying. If I'm saying if I add these four numbers, so it will generate you the Shegzi. Okay, now you have another method which is the substring method. Now I'm saying please start from the 11, but I need only 2 characters. So go to the page, refresh the page, it's giving you the 2 characters. And if I say that please give me the 10 characters, so it will give me the 10 characters. If I say that please give me the 19 characters, so it will give me the 19 characters. If you are not specifying the second parameters you are passing, it will give you all the content from the 11th one. So this is the difference between substring and also the slicing. Now you have another method. Let's suppose you want to replace Shegzi with Shegzi.com. So how can you do that? I'm saying I have the method which is the replace. I'm saying replace with Shegzi to Shegzi.com. I'm saying find the Shegzi from the string and replace with Shegzi.com. Now go to the page, refresh the page. Now as you can see it's saying Shegzi.com. So definitely by default the replace method only replace the first item available in the string. So now if you want to convert your string from lower to uppercase, so how can you do that? I'm going to comment this one so you can easily get the code. And now I'm saying these are the 2 variables, one variable and one console. Now I'm saying my name is Shegzi, and now here the method is we are going to use to uppercase. Now go to the page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, you have the lowercase and it's converting to the uppercase. And if you have the uppercase, let's suppose you have these values and you are saying that I'm going to use the lowercase to lowercase, so it will converting all the string to lowercase. Now how can you trim a string? Let's suppose if you have multiple spaces before the string, and now if you remove the spaces, as you can see your position is here. If you adding the spaces, now as you can see your position is here. So if you want to remove this one, you have to use the trim. So I'm saying dot trim remove all the spaces, empty spaces from the string. Okay, let's suppose you have a string and you want to convert your string to the array. Let's suppose I'm saying A space B space C space D, and now if you print the X, definitely it show you the ABCD. Now if you use the split, method and you are saying spread with space, then definitely it will give you the error, because you have it's converting the string to the array. So you have to use the dot sign, make sure. Now I'm converting a string to the array, and I'm saying var arr equals to, and here I'm saying show me the first element. Go to the page, refresh the page. Now as you can see it's showing me the first element. If I'm saying that please show me the fourth element, so it's undefined because the array is start from the 0, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3. So if I'm saying 3, it will definitely print you the D. If you're using the comma, you have to define here the comma. You are saying please find the comma. Whenever you find the comma, convert this one to the array, and whenever, so this is first index, second index, third, and also the fourth. Now fine, you have some other string methods you can also find from the official website of the Java and some other sources. Let's suppose you know very well we have discussed about the string in our previous lecture. So now I'm going to comment this one so you can easily get the code. Now I'm saying this is the variable. I'm saying you can also store 1 in this variable, and you also have the y variable. Let's suppose 5. Fine. I'm saying console.log x plus 5. That means you are saying plus, you are using this operator. These are the operands. 1 plus 5 equals to 6. So go to the page, refresh the page. Fine, 6. You can also use the 3.5 and 5.9. Fine. And you can also use these numbers. So it's totally depend upon you. Now what happens if you use the double quotations and you are using the floating or the integer? Let's suppose this is the integer value, but you are using in the double quotations. Go to the page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's showing you the results, but the wrong result. This is the string, it's not a integer. So x plus y, that means you are concatenating x with y. So that's why it's showing you 3 with 5. It's not a 35, it's 3 with 5. Okay, so this is the difference. But if you are saying 10 and 5 and you are saying 10 divided by 5, so it will work. If you are saying multiplications, it's also fine, but you cannot use minus plus. Definitely if you are using the string here like 10 and integer, not a string, 20, and you are saying this is my results, this is my results, and you have to use the plus sign and then x plus y. Go to the page, refresh the page, it's saying 10, 20. Why? Because this is the string and you are concatenating, you are using the concatenate. If you say that result equals to x plus y, and you are using the result here, go to the page, console.log. okay, fine, now it's 30, it's showing you the 30 if you are doing this. But if you are using this syntax, so JavaScript decide that this is a string and you are concatenating with the string and also the string, so that's why it's showing you 10, 20, because 10 is the value and 20 is the value. JavaScript array are used to store multiple values in a single variables. Here as you can see, you are storing only, let me tell you, wait for a few seconds. Here as you can see, you have x equals to 10, you're storing the 10 in the x and you use the output which is the console and showing the x value. Okay, it's fine. That means you only store a single value in a single variable. You cannot store multiple values like this 10, 20, it's illegal. You cannot store multiple values. You always store a single value, either it's 100 or maybe it's 1000, 10,000, whatever value you are storing, but a single value. But what happens if you want to store multiple value in a single variable? Then definitely you use the array. How? I'm saying this is my, I'm saying my names. So here you have to use the braces, these braces. I'm saying 10, 20, another 10 and the 30, 4 values I'm storing in this variable. So this is the variable, make sure it's not, I'm saying values, let's suppose, or you can also say the x. So now you are storing the values in the variable. You cannot direct print your values. So as you can see, it's showing you all the elements 10, 20 and like this. But if you want to access a particular value, you want to access this one, you have to use the index. I'm saying, so that means I'm saying please show me the first value. So now it's showing you the first value. Definitely if you are, because arrays index always start from the 0, so this is this 10 available in the 0 index, and this is 1, this is second, and this is third index. If you're saying that show me the third value, so it will show you the 30. Fourth value is not available, so that means it will give you the undefined values. Okay, you can also use the strings with comma separate. Make sure you have to use the comma separate value to store multiple values. Now I'm saying, let's suppose 1, and I'm saying 2. Now if you print the x, definitely it will show you the array. If you are saying please show me the first value of the array, it will give you the 1. If I'm saying please show me the 1 value, it will give you the 2. So in this way you can store the values. Make sure this is the variable and these are the values you are storing. Okay, you can also do that like this, but you have to separate with comma if you are using multiple values. Let's suppose I'm saying it's 3, so it will show you the 3 value. So if you use the length, so it will give you the length of the array. Let's suppose if you have another value, it will give you the 4 length. Fine. Now if you want to change this one, so how can you do that? I'm saying x equals to, x, now I'm saying 0, and here is the value. I'm going to replace, I'm saying 1 edited, it's without, because you have defined here. So now go to the page, refresh the page, and remove this bad boy. What is the length? Fine. So as you can see, you have just replaced this one. You also have the push and pop method. We'll discuss about in our later lectures or in the next lectures. Okay, you are accessing the values by defining the index. But what happens if you get or fetch all the values from a variables? I'm saying you can also get the values by using the for loop. I'm saying I start from 0 because the array always start from 0. I less than equals to I variable less than or equals to x dot length, and I plus plus. Make sure you have to use this one. Now this is the body of the loop. I'm saying x, and here I have to use the I variable. Console, copy this bad boy, paste here. Now go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's showing you the one you have not impressed. Okay, fine. It's saying 1, 2, 3, 4. Less than, you have to use the less than sign because now you are fetching one by one. If you add multiple values, so definitely it will all print you the multiple values because you are using the loop. So your loop start from the 0. So this is the 0. It will print the 0. Then it will check the condition. The length is the loop is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 because the length of the array is 9. Now once the system returns the 2, it will increment with 1. Now the index is 2. It will check, it will print the 2, then check the conditions, then increment. So something like that. So if you have these array, you have 3 elements in the x. So this is the array. If you use the console.log and print the x, definitely it will show you the array. But if you want to convert your array to a string, definitely you use the toString method to convert your array into a string. So as you can see, it's now showing you the string. So this is the string. If you use the plus sign and concatenate with string, so fine, because this is the string. Okay, you also have another methods to convert your string into array, but in this time it's a join methods. Make sure the toString methods convert your array into string with comma separate. So as you can see, it's adding the comma. But if you use the join, you can also specify. I'm saying join. Now I'm saying please add this star like this. Now it's separating with star. If you are saying to star, definitely it will add to star. If you are saying and, so it will add the and sign. So you have a pop and the push concept, which is a popping and pushing. That means you want to insert new elements in the array, or you want to delete the element from the array. So now you have the array, which is x. Now I'm using the pop. I'm saying x dot. I'm saying convey the console. This is the console. Now I'm saying x dot hop, and now go to the page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, it's removing the elements, which is the 3. And if you print the x now after the pop, so as you can see, now it's 1, 2. Your pop always remove the last element. Okay. Now if you want to add the element in the array, new element in the array, so you have to use the push method. So now I'm saying push, and you have to define the new method. Either you are using single quotations or double if you are inserting the new elements as a string. I'm saying 4. So now go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, you have just used the 4 in the array. Now if you use the shift, let's suppose if you have 3 elements, and if you are using dot shift, then what happens? It will remove the first element. So first one is 1. Now I'm saying just use the shift. Now as you can see, it's now removing the first element from the array. And make sure shift always return the removed or the discard values. Like I'm saying y. If you print y here, so definitely it will give you the 1. Fine. If you use the unshift, that means you are adding the new elements. Let's suppose I'm saying unshift, and you have to use the 4. It will add the 4 at the beginning of your index. So this is the beginning, 0 index. So if you are using the push method always add a new element at the end of the array, and your unshift method always insert a new element from starting of the array. Let's suppose you have 2 array, it's a x, and if I have y array, and I also have some elements in the array like 4 and 5. So these are the 2 values. So how can you merge these 2 elements? Now I'm saying I have used the concat method and with y. So go to the page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's merging the 2 arrays into one. So if you use this one, I'm saying var new variable, it's the results, and now you are merging 2 values and storing these 2 values here. And if you print this like this, so you can see it's showing you the same. If you have multiple arrays like this one z, you can specify here by adding a second parameter. Fine. JavaScript provide you the date objects, so you can manage or manipulate your date, or if you are working on dates, so you can use that object to get the methods or to get the property. So we'll discuss about this. It's a new date, this is the method, and I'm creating new object. Okay, now if I say that this is the my date, make sure this is my date. I'm creating a variable and assigning the object. You know very well about the objects. So now I'm saying console.log. If I print this one and go to the page, refresh the page, so now as you can see, it's saying Thursday, October 24, 2019. This is the current date and time, and it's a Pakistan standard time. So basically, by default, JavaScript use the browser time zone and display you the date and the time for the full text. So this is the full string, and it's showing you the dates and the time. It's the Pakistani. It's fetching this time from my browser. So now you have few ways to create the dates like this. This is the one way to create the dates. The second way is to create the date like wait for a second. You have to specify the new date, and now you have to pass some argument. Let's suppose I am saying 2017, and the second parameter 11, I'm saying 24, and now I'm saying 10 comma separate, and I'm saying 33, and now I'm saying comma, and I'm saying 30, and now I'm saying 0, and I'm saving this in a variable. I'm saying my date, and console this to show the output. Now go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, it's showing you the date you have specified here. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You have 7 arguments, and you are passing 7 arguments to this object. So that means you are saying this is the year and the month, day, and you have minutes, and definitely you have seconds, and you have milliseconds. Okay, and this is the order. Now if you use only these 3 parameters or the 4 parameters, let's suppose I'm passing 3 parameters, then what happens? It will show you the date. As you can see, it's showing you the date, not the minutes and second. If you pass only 6 parameters, so definitely it show you also the time. If you passing the 2 parameter, it will show you the 2, which is the year. This is the year, and this is okay. You can also use the string. How? I'm going to comment this one so you can easily get the code. I'm saying new date. That means I'm creating a new date with string. I'm saying var my date. I'm going to pass the string here. I'm saying October. I'm saying 19, and I'm saying 2012 with comma separate. Make sure. And you can also use 11, and let's suppose I'm saying 34 and 00. So now copy this bad boy, place this bad boy here. This is the same variable. Okay, now go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, you are creating the date like this. So you can pass the string, you can also pass the integer, and you can also create the full date with using this syntax. I'm saying new date. That means I'm creating a new date object. Okay, now I'm saying my date. Make sure this is my date and it's a variable. Now I'm saying console.log, and I'm saying my date. Go to the page, refresh the page. It will show me. It's showing me the actual date. It's getting this date from the browser. What happens if you need the year as a number? So just dot. That means you are now going to access the methods. So I'm saying get full year. Go to the page, refresh the page. It will give you the full year or in the form of digit. If you use the get month, so definitely it will give you the month. And if you use the date, this is the date, it will give you the date because today is 24th. If you use the hours, it will give you the hours. Current hour 16, that means it's 4. And if you use the minutes, seconds, it will give you the minutes and also the seconds. Now minutes, it's 30. So as you can see, by default the time is 30. And if you are saying that seconds, it will give you the second. So as you can see, I'm refreshing. So second. It's also give you with the get milliseconds. So it's giving you milliseconds. And if I'm saying that just get time, so it will give me the time like this. And if I say please get day, it will give me the day. So for day. So you can access or you can get days, months, years, hours, minutes by using these methods. So these are very useful methods and we use them in different projects. Now I'm saying if I use the date, definitely I use like this. I'm saying var my date. Okay, now if I say console log, and now if I say my date, so definitely it will print the date like this. If I'm saying dot set date, so go to the page, refresh the page, that means you have to pass some arguments. Okay, now pass 17, go to the page, refresh the page, it will give you your string like this. So what you need, just need to print this one and store this in a variables like I'm saying actual date. You don't need to save this one, and just what you need, just need to use the my date. So as you can see, it's showing you the date. If you use the set hours, definitely if I'm saying hours 11, so it will show you the hours 11:23 p.m. because it's a time 23rd. Now if I'm saying it's 8, it will give you like this. If I'm saying it's 16, it will give you like this. It depends on your setting. If I say that set minutes, so I'm saying that 14, so you can see it's now showing me the 14 because the actual time is 4:24, but I'm saying just show the 14. So that's why. You can also use the second. Set seconds. I'm saying 18. JavaScript provides you the math object, so you can perform the mathematical task on numbers. Definitely, you always perform the mathematical tasks on numbers. So now, how can you do that? I have math dot round. Let's suppose I'm saying 7.7. So definitely it will give you the answer 8. So if I say that console.log to print out this bad boy, so go to the page, refresh the page, as you can see it's saying you the 8. If you are saying 7.4, then definitely it will give you the it will give you the 7. Why? Because if you use the 5, definitely it's near to the 8. So that's why it give you the 8. If you use 3, 2, 1, then definitely it will give you the 7. Now if you use the power, I'm saying math dot power, you have to pass 2 arguments. I'm saying 3, 3. So 27. The power 3 is 24. So that's why. We have another method which is the sqrt square, and if I'm saying 9 square, so definitely it will give you the 3. So if I say 81, it will give you the 9. So this is the square methods. So let's suppose if you return the minus values and you need the positive value, so how can you convert your negative value into positive? So definitely you have to use the ABS functions. I'm saying minus 100, so it will convert your minus. Okay, now we have another method. Let's suppose I'm saying sale. I'm saying 4.4, so it's near to the 5, so that's why it's saying 5. If I'm saying 4.1, definitely it's saying 1. If I'm saying 4.8, then definitely it's saying 5. If you use the floor, it always give you the, wait a few seconds, if you use the floor, it always give you the values 4. If you use the 7, give you the 4, because it return the value of your variables rounded down. That's why. If you use the 4.9, it will give you the 4. You have some other methods. You can also view the documentations of the JavaScript. You can also get the minimum and maximum values, and you also have some other properties, because these are the methods we are here reviewing or we are writing here. And we also have some properties, because this is the object. Math is object, and you know very well that every object has its methods and also the properties. JavaScript booleans always one of two values, like yes, no, on, off, true, false. Let's suppose if you are saying that 10 greater than 9, that means it's true. Sorry, it's 10. 10 greater than 9, that means it's true. If you are saying 9 greater than 10, definitely it's false, because 10 always greater than 9. So that's why. Let's suppose if today is Monday and I'm saying today equals to, sorry, Saturday. Let's suppose. So because today is Monday, so that's why we are saying we are comparing Monday to Saturday. So that means it's false. So something like that. In JavaScript or in any language, every value has true. Let's suppose I'm saying I'm going to comment this one so you can easily get the code. I'm saying and now I'm saying x. We have not defined the x yet. I'm saying x equals to 10. And now I'm going to print this one. I'm saying console.log and print this one. Go to the page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's giving us true. If I'm saying nothing, so it will give you the false. Sorry. If I say var equals to nothing, it will give you the false. If I'm saying true, so it will give you the true. If I'm saying it's false, it's false. If I'm saying that k, it will give you the true. If I'm not assigning anything under the single or double quotation, it will give you the false. If I'm saying 2.88, it will give you the true. If I'm saying 2.88 divided by, I'm saying 1, it will give you the false, because this is the integer value and you are dividing with the string. So every x has a value, so that's why it's giving you the true. Depends on the conditions. And make sure if I'm saying 0, that means it will give you the false. If I'm saying -1, it will give you the true. If I'm saying -0, it gives you the false, because -1 is a value. Now I'm saying I have var x equals to 10. You can access this x variable at anywhere. That means I'm talking about this index.html page. Oh, the entire page. Now I'm saying console.log x. Definitely it will show you the x value. If I'm defining a function, I'm saying add. Okay, now I'm saying x equals to 10, and now I'm saying y equals to 10. That means this is the same variable like this, but not actual the same. Okay, now I'm saying result equals to x plus y, or you can also direct console.log. Fine. Now go to the page, refresh the page. It's showing you the 10. Let's suppose if I'm saying the x equals to 10, then which value, when I call this functions, which value the function use? Let's suppose we are calling this functions. Go to the page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, it's showing us 30. That means 20 plus 10. It's not showing us, I'm coming this one. It's not getting this variable because this variable has a global access, global scope, and these variables are local variables. So local variables, this is local variable, local. You can call only these variables inside your method. Let's suppose if you are saying console.log and you are calling this one, so it's illegal. You cannot call the local variables globally. Let's suppose if I'm comment this one, go to the page, refresh the page, it will give you the error. Let's suppose we call this bad boy, which is a method, function. Now go to the page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's showing you third. Okay, why? Because you are calling a method, so at the top of the function, that's why it's reading. If you call this one like this, it will give you the error. So that's why. Okay, now if you are not calling and you want to use the variable, definitely it will give you the error. So these are the global variables and these are the local variables. Local variables always available when you call a particular function, but after the functions the system delete these variables now, and these are the global variables. Let's suppose if you are saying, if you are not defining x here, I'm going to comment this one, this bad boy. Now what happens? Go to the page, refresh the page. Okay, just call this method, function, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's giving you the 20 because this is the global variables. You can call this variables at everywhere, every function. Everywhere means only on this page, okay, because we are working on the index.html page. So this is the local and global variables concepts. And if you receive these arguments here, let's suppose x and y, you are receiving two arguments here, then definitely you have to pass two arguments, 10 and 20 here. So these are also the local variables. Let's suppose like your pi value, you never change the pi value. I'm saying constant and I'm saying pi, and the pi value is like 3.1415 and something like that. If I'm using the console.log and I'm saying pi, go to the page, refresh the page, it's showing you the value, fine. If you use +1, it will give you, okay, fine. Now if I'm saying pi, let's suppose if I'm saying pi plus 10 or plus 17 equals to pi, that means I'm using the plus sign. So this is the actual value plus this value, and I'm saying store the same pi. So this is the illegal. It will give you the error because you cannot change the pi value. When you load a particular page, the browser creates a document object model of that page. That means when the browser creates a document object model of a particular page, you can use that page to change or to get access all the available things or the entities or the elements in the document model. Now I'm saying I'm going to define the paragraph and I'm giving the ID for this paragraph. I'm saying ID equals to my ID and I'm saying this is my para. Now if I say console.log and I'm saying document, then go to the page, refresh the page, and now right click, inspect element and console. So now as you can see, it's giving you the entire code. So this is the document. It's giving you the HTML header, body, and also something like that. So we have discussed that your browser create the object for you, so you can easily get the object and also change the values. Like if I'm saying dot get element by id, I'm saying what id? I'm saying my id. And now I'm saying inner.html, inner.text. Go to the page, refresh the page. As you can see, now I'm saying in the document get the id, which is this one, and now I'm saying fetch the content available in this id. I'm talking about this one. So I'm using this content here. As you can see, it's showing us here, and I'm showing the content here. If you want to change the values, you have to use the inner HTML. Inner HTML. Now I'm saying that this is the changed value. Now go to the page, refresh the page. So now when you refresh the page, so now as you can see, it's saying this is the changed value. Why? Because you are dynamically changing the value. This is the original syntax or the content, and you are changing the value. So this is your method, and these are your properties, because you are changing the property. And we have discussed that a property is a value that you can get or set. A method is an actions you can do, like we are saying get element by id. So this is the action we are saying, that please get this id, and this is the object. So you're very well about it. Let's suppose if you want to find the HTML elements on your home page or on a particular page, so how can you find that element? You can also find with id. We have discussed in our previous lectures. You can also find a particular element. I'm talking about the HTML element by tag name, class, CSS selector, and also the object. How? I'm saying that this, I'm going to comment this one so you can easily get the code. And this bad boy, okay, I'm removing this one. Now I'm saying I have the key, and I'm saying I have id. Now I'm saying this is my para, and the id is, I'm saying xyz. This is the id. Now if I want to access this one, how can I access? I'm saying console.log. Now I'm saying document.get element by id, because I'm getting this by id. So that's why I have to define id. You can also use the single quotation or the double quotation, but you have to use the accurate id. Now go to the page, refresh the page, right click, console. So as you can see, it's showing us the element. If I want to access the inner text, so definitely it will show us the inner text. If I'm saying inner HTML, it will show us the same thing, but you are accessing this one. Let's suppose if it's a h1, and yeah, I'm saying heading 1 here, and now I'm saying id. If I using the same id, so using a same id on a single page is the illegal, because the id is unique. You have to add or create any unique id. I'm saying abc, so this is the unique id. You cannot define 2 times a single id. So that's why I'm saying abc. Now it's a h1. Go to the page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, it's h1 here and also h1 here. Okay, now if I'm using the h4 and I'm saying this is the class, I'm saying class is xyz. I'm saying this is my h4. Now go to the page, refresh the page. Okay, now if you want to find by tag, let's suppose you are using multiple paragraphs. I'm saying this is my second para. Now if I'm accessing as a id, so it will give us only a single paragraph, like it's already giving us a single para. But if I'm saying get element by tag name, I have to define the tag name here. I'm saying p, so it will give you the collection. Collection means it will give me, now it's giving you the 2 paragraphs, one with id xyz and the second with without ID. So you have two paragraphs, one here and one here, and it's giving you the two paragraphs. Now how can you print out the first one? You have to use the first one like this. I'm saying find the first one, and now this is the document. I'm storing this in a variable. I'm saying my val or x. I'm saying this is a var, and now I have to use the x here, and now I'm saying 0. Touch the page. So now as you can see, it's giving me the first one. If I'm saying 1, so it will be giving you the second one. If I'm saying 0 and dot inner text, it will give me the inner text. So as you can see, this is giving me the inner text. So now if you have a class, I'm saying this is the class, my class, C capital. Now I'm saying this is the class. If you call any particular element by class, I'm saying get element by class name. Make sure you have to memorize that get G small, E capital, and B capital, C capital, N capital. I'm using the PHP Storm, so usually I never remember or memorize the method something like this, so that's why. But you have to memorize that you have to use the E capital, S, B capital, C capital. Okay, now I'm saying please give me by, because the class is 1. Now go to the page, refresh the page. Okay, now the class is 1, it's giving us the collection, only a single element. Now if we have multiple classes like this, if I have 3 elements with the same class, it will give me the 3 elements. But what I just need to access with this, like 1, 2, and also 2, because we have 2 values. If you're using 3, definitely it will give you the undefined. You can also use the for. Let's suppose I equals to 0, I less than x dot length, and I plus plus. Now this is the body. I'm saying console.log, and here I'm saying I. Now go to the page, refresh the page. It's now showing you the 3 elements. So you can also do that. It's totally depend upon you, how you are writing. If I have the paragraphs and I have the paragraphs ID, I'm saying this is my para. Now let's suppose I'm saying CSS para. You have to create the selector first of all. How can you create the selector? Document dot your get element by ID. Definitely you have to get by ID, tag name, or the class name. I'm saying CSS, I'm saying para, and here you have to define the style dot your property goes here. Let's suppose property, and your value goes here, your value. Like if you are managing your paragraphs, then definitely paragraphs has color. I'm saying color equals to olive. It's my favorite. Okay, now go to the page, refresh the page. So now as you can see, the page is olive. If I'm saying background, I'm saying background red or olive. Refresh the page. Okay, it's totally depend upon you. If I'm saying font size, then definitely I have to define, I'm saying 39 pixels. So as you can see, it's showing us the 39 pixels, the large font. You can also define, you can also change any property of a CSS by using any event. Let's suppose if you have a button and you want to say that if someone click on the button, you can change the color of a particular element. So how can you do that? I'm saying I have a button. I'm saying this is a class, and I'm saying my CLS, my btn CLS, and here I'm saying on click, and now here I'm saying this, not, I'm saying get document dot get element by id. Which id? I'm saying this is the para, and I'm going to copy all the content here, and I just need to use the id. This is the id. Here I'm saying use a single quotation. Fine. I'm saying this is the style, and I'm saying the color is equals to red. Now where is the on click? So this is the on click. Fine, go to the page, touch the page. If you click on this one, as you can see, it's changing the para. So I'm saying this is the click me. So fine, remove this bad boy. Now I'm saying click this one. So as you can see, it's removing this one. You can also change the element or the property or something like that. So it's totally depend upon you. So this is the way to change the dynamic content, or to change the elements dynamically from a particular page. We have different kind of events like click, like mouse over, like on load. We'll discuss about them, but for now you know very well that we have changed this text color when someone click on this. That means this is the event. Event means whenever someone click on a particular button, that means an action occurs and it will change something. So this is the event. So click is the event. Whenever someone click, okay. So here, as you can see, you are using the on click, and you are getting the values by using the ID. Now I'm going to comment this one so you can easily get the code. Now I'm saying I have a paragraph. Let's suppose I'm saying this is my para, and the para has ID. I'm saying my button para ID, so you can easily get the code. Now I'm saying whenever someone click on this on click, I'm using the on click event. I'm saying whenever someone click on this button, this function occurs, or I'm going to call a particular function. I'm saying change color. Fine. Now go to the page, refresh the page. Sorry, I'm going to define a button, and now I'm writing the on click on that button. I'm saying click me, fresh, click, nothing has happened. Right click, inspect element, console. So as you can see, it's giving you the error because this function is not available. Now I'm saying this is the function, and in the function you have console. Which function? I'm saying this is the function. I'm saying console dot log. I'm saying working. Now go to the page, refresh the page. Now click on this one. So now as you can see, it's saying working. That means your function is now working fine. Then what you need, just need to call the document dot get element by ID, so you can easily get this, and now perform anything. Like if you want to change the content, new content here, go to the page, refresh the page, click on this one, new content here. If you want to change the, let's suppose this is the ID, keep this ID in a variable. I'm saying this is my selector. So here I'm not talking about the jQuery selector. We'll discuss about the jQuery, because jQuery is a library. I'm not going to define the jQuery here. I'm saying this is the selector. This is a variable. This is just a variable. I'm saying this dot inner HTML. I'm going to change the values, new values here. Also I'm saying selectors dot style dot color, I'm saying red. Now I'm saying selectors dot style dot font size, I'm saying font size is 20 pixel and something like that. Now semicolon, go to the page, refresh the page. If you click on this one, so you can see now we are assigning some values. So this is the font color, font size. You can also define as many as value as you want. So this is the on click event. Make sure if you also have the on load event. That means you are saying when the body is load or when the entire page is load. I'm saying on load, when the body is load, I'm saying add a background color, back color, call this function, and I'm going to define this function here, function. Now how can you change the entire body? I'm saying document dot get element by tag name. Here is the tag name, I'm saying body, and I'm saying style body. Okay, I'm saying this is the body, var my body, and here I'm saying console.log body. Go to the page, refresh the page, right click, inspect element. So as you can see, it's saying it's giving you your body because you have a body. Now I'm saying I have a body dot style dot background, I'm saying red. Go to the page, refresh the page. Now as you can see, it's showing me the red background. So when you load the page, why? Because you are getting the, why you are using this one? Because you are getting the collection, so that's why you are using, because you have only a single body available on the page, so that's why you are saying find this one style and use the code. So this is the on load. I'm going to copy this one and I'm saying this is the para here, and now I'm going to comment this one. Okay, you also have a on mouse event and on mouse out, on mouse over, on mouse out. Let's suppose I'm saying whenever someone on mouse, this is the on mouse over, I'm saying document this dot style dot background, I'm saying red. If someone visit this one, I'm using the single quotations because we are using the double quotations outside of it. Click on this one, hover over the mouse or inspect element. Okay, you have to write something here. On mouse here. So now find the on mouse. Now as you can see, it's not showing you the, whenever you, this is the on mouse, it's fine. This is the on mouse and I'm saying on mouse out. This is the on mouse out, I'm saying background color, if I'm saying white, it's fine.